because the report found a considerable body of evidence that it failed to investigate properly.
There has been a massive apology around the Tim Westwood situation. Where do we even start? Firstly, I made a video around 3 months ago that's got 140,000 views explaining a lot of the Tim Westwood allegations, and he since has had an apology on behalf of the BBC come out. Tim Westwood has had an active channel over the years and posted a lot of the top hip hop content in the UK and hasn't been active for the past 5 months because of this controversy. Apparently has made his way over to Nigeria now. This come from a post on X, and people were saying Tim Westwood is now an Afrobeats DJ in Nigeria, and of course people are not happy with this either. Someone tweeted, Tim Westwood is accused of sexual misconduct with multiple black women, so he moves to Nigeria to continue his DJ career. I don't know who is more shameful, Westwood or the promoters and club owners who are booking him. I thought he just had a show out there and went out there to film some content and come back, because he has actually been questioned a few times by the police in the UK, but again he's announced another 2 shows in Nigeria. He got some sort of Lagos mixtape of the year as well. He is massive out in Nigeria. Maybe because of this situation he's trying to start a new life over there. He's got the police trying to get him on numerous charges, and also the old company he worked for, the BBC, have apologised over his behaviour at their company.
I'm Chichi Zundu, and I'm a BBC News correspondent who's investigated Tim Westwood's conduct, including while he worked at the BBC. The BBC board has apologised over missed opportunities to tackle bullying and misogynistic behaviour by Westwood. I was once his colleague and encountered some of his behaviour whilst I was a newsreader on BBC Radio 1 and 1 Extra.
It's time for the BBC Radio 1 Extra news with Chichi Azunde. Chichi, you suffer from a rather perturbing camel toe most days, even when you're wearing a skirt. Are you interested in this lady product, which would help disguise that rather protruding, raging camel toe of yours?
An independent report highlighted a series of incidents and allegations it said amounts to a considerable body of evidence that it failed to investigate properly. The DJ has previously claimed all allegations were false.
He worked there for so long. He was a massive part of the BBC on different platforms. He was even given artists advice on coming up. He was trusted at the BBC, and he'd done this investigation all this time later because he had power there and they needed him. When they no longer need him and he's moved on his life, now they come at him all these years later. And the BBC just come out, who have the most responsibility, they're government funded, and just say, we've done an investigation now and we're sorry.
Now that I'm older, realise that, it was grooming and predatory, but at that time you didn't want the shame because, I'll get the blame, not him. I'll get the blame because I'm no one. So I just kept quiet, because then you won't get pointed and looked at, oh yeah, that's the girl that, accused, Tim of sexually abusing her when she was underage.
I didn't know how old he was.
It was these stories from 18 black women who came forward in 2022 to detail what they described as unwanted predatory sexual behaviour and touching against the former BBC Radio 1 DJ Tim Westwood that triggered this report.
Welcome to the Radio 1
Tim Westwood was known for his love of hip-hop, championing the genre on UK radio from the early 90s. The BBC today apologised, saying it fell short because the report found a considerable body of evidence that it failed to investigate properly.
20 years Tim Westwood was at the BBC. That is a very, very long time. You're telling me complaints couldn't have been investigated any earlier? 1994 to 2013 are the exact dates. And more than 120 individuals have contributed to this review, and thousands of records from the time were examined just recently. But Tim Westwood has now clapped back with his solicitors addressing these allegations that have been ruining his life. He's literally been getting confronted by women in public about what's been happening. If he goes anywhere, he's being filmed on the train, etc. People are assuming these are true, and he has no chance to prove himself yet.
From then?
They're all false allegations.
False allegations?
Period.
So they were lying?
Period.
Yeah?
And I will prove that.
So when are you going to prove it?
As soon as I get my opportunity and trust, I'm ready.
Because haven't you been arrested recently?
No, I haven't been arrested, please. Allow it.
Don't allow me, bruv.
Allow it.
Yeah? So you didn't do it then?
Tim Westwood's lawyer responds to this situation saying he denies the allegations of criminal and other misconduct and confirms he's never had sexual interest in children under the age of 16, and he has never acted in a predatory or sexual manner and did not and does not present any risk to young women at the BBC nor elsewhere. He has denied the opportunity of presenting a defence to the allegations set out in the report as a result of them being vague and the nature of the allegations and the ongoing police investigation.
He is now facing historical sexual abuse allegations from multiple women. He strongly denies all allegations of inappropriate behaviour, but as the BBC have pointed out, there is a police investigation still ongoing into that.
The Metropolitan Police had only confirmed last year that it was investigating a man over allegations of non-recent sexual offences in London, 1982, 1985, 2010 and 2016. Very well spread out. A Met spokesperson said on Monday a full file of evidence remains with the CPS for their consideration, and detectives from the Met continue to make inquiries with support from prosecutors.
Today's report did find that there was no widespread or significant knowledge about the allegations, but it is critical about how BBC management handled complaints about Tim Westwood, highlighting that a response to some of the incidents it found could have been a referral to police. In response to today's report, the BBC board stated there is evidence of bullying and misogynistic behaviour. The organisation fell short and failed people, including our own staff, who had a right to expect better from us.
So really, Tim Westwood right now at any point could be arrested, or he could be innocent and it could be dropped, we don't know. But right now the CPS is sitting on some evidence. If they get together a little bit more, they could just say, let's go and arrest Tim Westwood and take him to court. We've got enough now at any point. With these kind of investigations, the police always take long anyway and don't really convict many people. Someone said 1 in 100 even make it to trial in sexual offence crimes, but also it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago these crimes been committed. You got to track down witnesses, people that was there. Their recollection of events can be not as clear on what was happening. It's a lot more complicated when time has passed and some people are not even around to tell their side of events. And this could benefit Tim Westwood when going to court that so much time has passed, but a thing going against him is it's numerous women, and 2016 was the most recent one, which is still 9 years ago, which is crazy. We're seeing with the young Philly situation how long things can take to get to court. Obviously he's in Australia, a similar sort of justice system over there. These things take time, so imagine with the Tim Westwood case how complicated and how many people involved. They're saying 120 people were dragged into just the BBC's investigation, and the police are expected to do a lot more looking into. Talking to people getting called out years later, my last video was Central C versus Traplaw Ross. An interesting watch how Traplaw Ross tried to break down that Central C essentially is not about that life. Make sure you guys watch that video next.